When we think of global power, we usually picture armies and economies, right? But what if the next great conflict isn't fought on a battlefield, but in our farm fields? Today, we're going to dig into a new, kind of invisible force that's shaping our entire world. And it all starts with the very source of life, our food. Now, that is not a line from some sci-fi movie. It's a very real, very stark description of a strategy that's unfolding right now. It's turning food security from something you grow in the soil into something you program in a lab. So what are we talking about here? This isn't a power you can see, like tanks or tariffs. No, this operates in the shadows. You'll find it in patent offices, in trade negotiations, and deep inside the genetic code of the seeds that farmers are planting all across the globe. And this right here is the perfect way to think about it. Okay, imagine you're a farmer. You buy a license, not the seed itself, but a license to use a patented seed for just one season. But you don't own its code. You can't save the seeds for next year, you can't modify them, you can't share them. You are totally locked in, completely dependent on that one company for next year's software update.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we need to get specific. Let's break down what academics are calling agro-biological power.
So this definition comes from the research of Dr. Sivik Arslan. And the key word here, the one you really got to focus on, is control. It's all about one country's ability to influence another, not with guns, but with patents, with seeds, and with the very systems that we all rely on to produce our food. And that is the huge shift. Over the past 40 years or so, agricultural biotech has completely jumped the fence. It's not just about farming anymore. It's stormed right into the halls of international relations. So now, a decision about what seeds to plant has become tangled up with a country's foreign policy and its place in the world.
So how does this power actually work in the real world? Well, Dr. Arslan's work lays out 4 key ways this happens. Let's walk through how this control is really put into practice.
First up, you've got infrastructural dependency. This one's the most direct. When one country has to rely on another for its best seeds, its farming tech, or even just access to genetic data, boom, a massive dependency is created. It's kind of like controlling the water supply. If you control that, you control everything that grows from it. Second, there's what's called a normative hegemony. Now, this one is a lot more subtle. This is about shaping the international rules of the game so that they benefit you. When a powerful country gets to influence global patent laws, they're basically making everyone else play by their rules. It's like a poker game where one player gets to make up the rules as they go along. Of course they're going to win. Third is epistemic control. And this is a really big one. It's power over knowledge itself. This is about having the authority to say what counts as good science, which GMOs are safe and which farming methods are modern. If you can control that story, you can push other options to the side and make your technology seem like the only game in town. And finally, number 4, crisis diplomacy. A famine, a drought, a flood. These are moments when a country is incredibly vulnerable. Another nation can swoop in with food aid or amazing new seeds. But that short-term help can be a bit of a Trojan horse. It can create a long-term dependency and diplomatic leverage that lasts way, way after the crisis is over. Now, I know this all might sound a little bit abstract and theoretical, but it has incredibly real consequences. So let's look at how this is playing out on the ground in what people are starting to call the global seed wars. Get ready for this number: 70%. Just a handful of companies control about 70% of the entire global seed market. I mean, wow. When you have that much power in so few hands, you're basically setting the stage for a massive conflict. And this is not some silent takeover either. Oh no, this is a fight. And it's being waged in courtrooms all around the world. You've got farmers, activists, even entire governments pushing back against this corporate control over the very first link in our food chain, the seed. And you can see this is happening everywhere. Research from Corinne Pechard highlights these battlegrounds. So in Brazil, the fight is over royalty payments for soybeans. Meanwhile, in India, you've got these huge legal brawls over patents for genetically modified cotton and eggplant. These are 2 of the world's biggest agricultural players. And in both places, the fight is over the exact same thing. Do corporations get to trump national laws and farmers' rights? So why should you care? Well, the impact on actual farmers is just devastating. The ancient right to save and share seeds, something farmers have done for millennia, is basically being criminalized. Biodiversity is taking a nosedive as these patented single-crop fields take over. Small farmers are getting squeezed out, and corporate IP rules are just overriding a country's own laws. The whole thing threatens the very foundation of food security. Which brings us to our final part. If this is what's happening now, what's next? Well, the next phase of agro-biological power is already here. And believe it or not, it's becoming even harder to see. Digitalization, that's the new frontier, and it's changing the whole game again. We're moving beyond just controlling the physical seed. Now, the new focus is on controlling the data that surrounds every part of agriculture, and that makes the power structure way less visible, but honestly, way more powerful. Just think about this for a second. Algorithms fed by these giant centralized databases of genetic info, climate data, soil data, they're now telling farmers what to plant and when. Control isn't just in a patent office anymore. It's in the cloud. We're watching this shift from seed dependency to data dependency, and that might be an even tougher form of control to break. And so this leaves us with one last massive question. As the lines between biology and data, between the farm field and the server farm, just completely blur, we have to ask ourselves, who is really in control of our food? And who truly owns the fundamental right to it?